Hello, welcome back to the Pride Pod here on Loud and Proud Orlando. The Orlando Pride are back in action. They are back in preseason camp. The beginnings of the 2026 season are starting to take shape, Luis. I'm excited. We're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about the high-impact player rule and Rodman and everything around that when we get into it. But first, I want to say hi to Luis. How are you, buddy?
Thank you for everybody that's joining. I'm happy to be back. Obviously, a lot of news regarding the girls coming back to the training mode, and unfortunately, no preseason games. But there's a new deal that just happened, massive deal for the NWSL world, or Trinity Rodman getting a new deal. So I look forward to the episode to see what we can contribute on that debate about the hip rule.
Shout out to Shinta in the comments saying Gotham got Dudley. I did see that, Shinta, and I thought of you when it happened. I said, well, there's the other half of our FSU duo gone to Gotham. So that was an interesting one that just happened. But in terms of Orlando Pride, of course, back on the field, back at the Orlando Pride training ground at Sylvan Park. Really, I mean, it's as expected. There were some quotes, there was some media. The big kind of headline quote the club is sort of running with is we're going to build on what we did last year and not feel that way again. So there's a great article that Austin did kind of assessing, how they feel, where they're at from the end of last year. And that's kind of the main takeaway. McCutcheon here saying, to find the quote, I think we look back on last season and we're disappointed, and that's crazy because we made our second consecutive playoff appearance and made it to the semis and arguably should have put that game away. And then she goes on to say, so while we're disappointed, we're also really encouraged, and while we're going to build on what we did last year and not feel that way again. So really, as expected, Luis, right? The team returning back to training, nothing really too dramatic here, just the beginning of preseason. And as we know, trying to shake off the disappointment of last year and go again, as we like to say.
Yeah, I mean, the Orlando Pride obviously kicked off their 2026 preseason training this past Tuesday at Orlando Health Training Ground. And it was the first group session in over 2 months. So they're beginning an 8-week preparation for the upcoming NWSL season. So a lot of time for gelling and getting together and trying new things. And, so the return of the field signals a focus on building a team, definitely team chemistry and fitness. So obviously getting the newcomers used to Seb's system, as well as obviously recouping Barbara Banda, right? I think that's something that's very important. Then also incorporating Marta into the mix and Angelina. And so a new beginning, right? Now, I'm just a little concerned that there's really no preseason games, have been announced publicly. I wish there was a little bit more for the fans to kind of go look and speculate a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
a little strange to me that we've begun preseason, but there's no, and I know Orlando Pride traditionally has not really, they've not really made a lot of preseason in terms of promoting it or talking about it. Often we get reports from like other teams that they play in preseason, and then that's how we know how it went. Like there's a lot of games where they're completely closed door to the point where they don't even really post about it on social or put really like pictures up or updates or much of that going on. I know that like when it was Carter and Seb for the last 2 years, really they just weren't interested in kind of allowing the audience to kind of see those preseason games, or really, wanting to promote them or making them a thing. I don't know whether that was led by Haley or that was more of Seb's preference. If it's Seb's preference, then I'm guessing that's going to continue over into the Carducci era, and we're still not going to, see a lot of preseason. I understand that they want the players, they feel like they have to, even when it's a preseason game, there's a certain amount of like, okay, now the audience is here. And maybe they don't want that. Maybe they don't want preseason to feel at all like, the regular season. So maybe that's why they don't do that. But I think it not announcing at least the games that they expect to play, you know, maybe they will, and we're just being a little bit too preemptive here, but the fact that they've started preseason and we don't have any idea about what their preseason plans are, like publicly, you might be able to find out if you do some investigating here and there. But other teams, you think about NWSL, Luis, you've got the invitational going on where you've got a bunch of NWSL teams all competing against each other in a preseason like tournament. So if you look at what other teams are doing, for me, I feel like Orlando Pride could do more. I'm not saying we have to be in a full preseason tournament, but at least one preseason game for the season ticket members, I think would be appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all about thinking outside the box, but also without killing the team. I think they could have had a Florida Cup against the Tampa Bay Sun. I think that would have been champion versus champion or something like that. I think it would have been a great scrimmage match. You could try players like Castaigne and you know Soleil, Washington. You could have you could have had them play and kind of it would have been a great matchup. Also, why not going abroad? I mean, the Orlando City goes to Mexico. I mean, they could go to Colombia. You can go to you know Brazil. Ecuador or Peru. I just think they could do some. Right now the Peruvian teams there for the women's are doing preseason, so um, it could work. We just gotta think outside the box. But I think the fans deserve a little bit more communication and also to see the team a little more. You know what I mean? Maybe the STMs could go to some of the practices. They're available, kind of like what they do for the men's. I think it'd be interesting. Let's see here. Elizabeth Eads. There you go, Miss Elizabeth. The communication from Pride and the news. The news sucks. There you go. There you go. That's bold. There you go. They've been terrible with promoting preseason the past couple of years. There you go. Gotham got Dudley. That says football con John. I'm trying to find opinions about Muriel. Do you think Muriel lived up to expectations while he was at the club? No, he did not.
If this is our women's soccer team podcast, but if you DM us on any social media, we'll happily answer your questions about Luis Muriel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, DM us on Instagram, LPO_podcast.
I
And
mainly looked out at all of the new players, really. That's why I was looking at the video footage and the pictures in Luis. I just want to see any of our new signings out there. Like I think Haley Mace looks, really good. I think
Soleil looks great.
we knew what we got with her. Salai, yes, I was excited to see Salai, what she could do on the ball. I think Simone Jackson, again, I'm watching to see what she's doing in preseason. There's a lot of players that, Luana is another one. Luana looks like, she's ready to go for me. I want to say happy birthday to this person, Angelina. It's her birthday today. So happy birthday to her. I mean, there's some great pictures here. Summer's getting ready. There's Angelina in action. Ovalle, right? I mean, that's a big thing for us as well. Preseason, I want to see, does Ovalle look like she's been hitting the gym in the offseason? Does she look like she's ready to go? Is she going to be, what is the difference with her not entering midseason, with her having this preseason now? When we get to the beginning of the season, is she going to really show that she's benefited from it, etc.? So, I mean, I know there's a lot of pressure on her because she's a big signing, but we expect big things. You got Ali Limos, goalkeepers, Luis. That's another thing. What's going to happen with goalkeepers in this preseason? Of course, we've got 4 at the moment. What's happening with that? Corey Dyke. There's Haley Mays. Great to see the new players in action as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's exciting to see them back in action for sure. I'm excited to see Salai Washington, 100%. I think she's going to be fantastic. There you go. There's one of our goalkeepers right there coming as well. So, yeah, I'm glad to have Luana back. I hope she's able to play starters for sure. This is Jackie needs to put on muscle. Says I didn't see Macron in camp either. Yeah, Macron is on camp. Interesting. I like to
Yeah,
see
I've
Corey.
not seen
Happy engagement, Corey, too, by the way. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
got engaged. Yeah, and then Sarah's right there. Payne is right there.
This is
Oyan is right there.
Jordan, right?
Yeah.
The new signing, the right
Yeah,
back,
Nicole
right wing.
Payne. Yeah, that's Nicole Payne
Nicole
right
Payne,
there.
sorry. Getting my names wrong.
Because I went to see a different number 1 keeper. This
This is Luana, like Luana's looking ready to go, man. She's
Yeah,
looking
Luana was
happy and
ready to
healthy.
go,
We love to see it. Anytime she's smiling,
Yeah.
it's just so great.
And she's a hell of a great player. I was ready to have her to start last season.
Look, when she came off the bench, she could do something. So I think if she's got full preseason fitness and she's then able to run for 90 minutes and put in 90 again, then I'd have her as a starter. I just, I think after everything that happened last year was just a building year for her. And now we're going to see if we've got, the Luana that we never really had, right? Because we signed her and she played like 1 game and then this horrible news came out. And she's got over all of that. And I don't feel like we've ever really had the Luana that we knew we were signing, right? So I would love it'd be like a brand new player for us. So I'm really excited to see if she can put in 90 week in, week out, then I'd have her next to Haley McCutcheon.
Happy to have Salai. Do you think we made a run in my other no Dudley? I think Gotham got Dudley, my friend.
I don't think we made a run at Dudley because I don't think she's our kind of striker. I don't think she suits the profile. And we don't play 2 up top. So I think it was nice in college with that combo. But unless you're going to take that same combo of Dudley and Solai and play them together up top and back that, then I don't think we needed her. But interesting that Gotham has gone on her. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean because Esther is she's getting of age. You know what I mean? So I think we still need a scoring midfielder with experience. There you go. This is just play 5 center forwards. Gee.
Play Banda and Solai and
I also like to see
all the center forwards.
I also would like to see the best version of Angelina this year. I don't like this Angelina that we have so far. Like in 2025 Angelina wasn't as good as 2024 Angelina.
No, not as
She needs to go back to the 2024 Angelina.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of players that it was a bit disappointing from them in 24. So in 25, we want to see that 24 performance. Will Banda be ready to go, says Elizabeth. It's a good question because I didn't see her in any of this, Luis. Did you see her in any of the footage?
No, I've looked and I haven't seen Barbara Banda.
I think it's I don't want to say anything speculative because we don't know, but if she's not here day 1 of preseason, that's probably meaning like she's still having some, holdover issues from last season that they don't feel ready to throw her back in here. That's the only reason. So if she isn't ready to go yet, we still got a long way before the season comes. Maybe she's still doing individual stuff and they're just not ready to put her in contact yet. I don't know, but I was expecting her to be here day one of preseason. So I'm a little concerned that she isn't.
Yeah, and also there's really not a lot of news to see. Is she still with a lingering injury? Is she just taking some time off? How far is she ahead on her, being ready to go? We don't know absolutely nothing, you know? So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
hope I cross
the
my
club is not
fingers.
gonna tell us. They're not gonna tell anybody. Like I said, the season's still a ways away, so it doesn't mean that she can't join at some point before the season starts.
Yeah, 100%. I know there's some pictures that have been circulating about her in Zambia hanging out with a couple of friends that are like track and field, Olympic, people, and but really nothing that I've seen about, her playing soccer, I'll be honest with you. So, um but, regardless, Stemma Chawinga and Barbara Banda is still in the top 10 of the best players in the world. So, I
They
mean,
are definitions of the high impact player, wouldn't you say, Luis?
yeah, I mean, and again, that's the question, Rodman got a new deal. She's the star of the Washington Spirit, signed a landmark contract extension through 2028, reportedly valued around 2 million per year, making her the highest paid player in NWSL history, and potentially the whole entire world. This deal leverages the league's new high impact player HIP rule, allowing teams to exceed the salary cap for elite talent. Um, I think that for the Orlando Pride, I think we have the right GM in place to get a star, another star player,
Yeah.
another face. I think this is our GM. Knows the law very well. She's a lawyer. She's worked at US Soccer. She's worked in the league level, and she kind of knows how to find, I wouldn't say loopholes, but know how to use that rule to our advantage. She's done it in Kansas. She's brought in a lot of good players that still play there right now. She's been a maverick for that team. She can do the same here with the new dealings that the league is going to create. I don't like the fact that this is spinning around Rodman. And I know I don't want to knock her down.
Yeah, like I
Great.
don't want to call it the Rodman rule. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, great for her. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be a hater. Great for women's sports. Great for her. But I don't. I mean, she's not Mia Hamm, dude. You know what I mean? She's not. She's not a Marta.
Well, I think that's like an if you've not watched my NWSL podcast that I've done, please go ahead and watch that. It's on my channel called John Rollins TV. And we talk a lot about it on there, Luis. And I think that the high impact player rule has so many implications. I don't. It shouldn't be blamed like on Rodman, right? It shouldn't be called the Rodman rule, in my opinion, because she's just a player. It's not her choice. It's not
Mhm.
her, decision. Any of this, and it's really not even Washington's decision. They're just trying to make it happen and keep her in the league. The league have been back and forth with what they want to do with this, and NWSLPA has filed several grievances. So the high impact player rule is not really 100% confirmed yet. Like it's still in the works. It's actually something that's going to come in the summer, but Rodman is officially one of the first high impact players in the sense that she's going to be taking advantage of this rule and saving that money. Well, that $1 million that you can use will come into effect on Rodman's contract in the summer. So she is officially that first player, but it's the league that has pushed this idea of the high impact player. And the way that they've really modeled it is like, yes, it's like the DP rule in MLS, but it's also very different because it's really based around like commercial revenues. It's based around marketability. It's based around, how much can I make from this player? So I think with the Rodman thing is I agree that like she's not the best player in the league right now. She is a very, very good player, but she's also a very injured player. But if you're Washington Spirit, she's gonna make you enough money selling jerseys and all of this anyway, like in ticket sales, etc., that it doesn't matter if she's not always available because she's financially viable, which I think is really where a lot of people struggle with the high impact rule because it's not based on sporting merit. It's based on, can you make me money even though I'm paying you a lot of money? And yeah, I think that just then comes into an area that we don't like. And like, it's even more ridiculous than what MLS are doing because at least they base it on, you know, um, players that are valued more, and then they get the DP rule. The high impact player rule is your value is how much money could you make me, not how are you one of the best players in the league. And so that's why arguably the most high impact player is Temwa Shawinga, but Temwa Shawinga doesn't sell as many jerseys as Trinity Rodman. So that's where I think a lot of us struggle with what this rule is. And what do you think, Luis? I haven't really heard I've heard your opinions on it, but since it happened, what do you think about Rodman and the fact that she is going to be the first high impact player using this rule?
I mean, I think she's making the first. I mean, is she the best player in the U.S. women's national team roster? I mean, I think
I mean,
Lindsay
she's
Heath.
close. She's definitely up there.
Yeah, but she's not. I mean, she's. I don't see her making that big of an impact, if you know what I mean. And she's not an impactful addition. Like if I think somebody like Megan Rapinoe when she was healthier and younger,
Yeah.
or somebody like
But again,
maybe
it comes back to the sellability, right? That's the
right,
thing, really.
right.
She's the most sellable women's soccer player out there.
Like Lindsay Heaps, for example, I think she's a little better in my opinion. I think she's more complete, less injury prone. But again, I guess it's just taste. She's in a big club that has very forward thinking people running the club, and they like to make a lot of buzz and also sell their club very well, and kind of say, hey, yeah, we're all about you know forward thinkingness and gung ho and women's rights and all that stuff. So I think it's a rule that they had a chance to kind of separate themselves from the MLS, and I see it kind of being an MLS rule in NWSL
Yeah,
more than anything.
they're
And
trying to copy MLS. It's dumb.
yeah, literally, they're literally copying MLS. Like,
And that's something they've done historically, like at different times. I thought they were over that period, but apparently not. Like I think there's a lot. We have our questions about Jessica Berman, and I think this is one that they've just continued to push, even though the players didn't really want it. The NWSLPA didn't want it. You had several clubs being like, we don't, we'd rather you just raise the salary cap by $1 million. And I think it's not a good time for the NWSL owners to get cheap, right? I think if you want to stay at the top in the world, then you got to pay money. So this is for me, it's kind of a cop out because they said, okay, we'll spend more money, but only if we make more money. And it's just not how you stay at the top, right? Do you think the owners of the WSL are counting their pennies like that? Because they're not, right? So if you want to be the best in the world, which Mark Wilf, literally talked about the other day when he was in a press conference about NWSL being the best league in the world and we need to stay there, then we need to spend money. And that's, this is not the time to get cheap in women's soccer if you want to be at the top.
Right, and again, it goes to the question of, the impact and the legacy she's going to leave, uh, for the sport. I mean, it's gonna sound so bad what I'm about to say, but whatever. I mean, what has she accomplished so far?
No, I mean that's exactly right. Like is again, we're thinking about the high impact, like it's on the field high impact, but it's not. It's financial high impact, and that's the part that I think everybody is just
Also, I
they
feel
struggle
like
with the
the
concept, and it's a miscommunication, right?
I think the commissioner also fails on knowing how to market the league. I think there needs to be a new sheriff in town for the league. I mean, I think Berman is a really nice lady. I've met her a bunch of times, and she's a sweetheart. But I mean, you got to market the league a little better. I mean, I think right now, there are clubs that play in 30,000 seater stadiums when they can only pull like 3,000. You know, it, you got to know that your league is growing. You got to know your market. You got to know numbers.
Like
You got to
she's
make
getting paid
smart.
more than Bon Mati now. Like
That's insane, man. Like,
what I'm thinking then is like, okay, so if there's Washington are going to pay her this much, like what is what can we pay? What can KC pay?
for
What can
Banda.
Gotham pay? Like the big spending clubs in NWSL, and we're gonna move on to this. I've got some names to throw at you in a minute, Luis, but I want to ask the chat as well. Like, let's go throw some money around. Let's go throw some money at somebody. The hip rule is coming into effect in the summer, but you could even do it now. And I think that if we're seeing from Kang and Haley Carter that they're gonna, you know, they're building this dynasty, right? They did a whole press conference for this in LA, and there's this whole feeling around Washington of like we're really gonna set the standards in NWSL and women's soccer. So let's see that from other clubs. Let's see that from us. Let's see that from other NWSL teams, and use this rule to go poach some of the best talents in the world, and players that are sellable, right? If that's what it's for, players are gonna put butts in seats, like whether it's U.S. Women's National Team players, other players based on the qualifications. But I think we need to be ambitious too, right? If this is ambition from Washington Spirit, we need to show similar levels of ambition, or else we're going to be left behind.
Yeah, it says Berman is quantity over quality. Like I said, I love that Washington spend their hip money on a habitually injured player. That's what I'm saying. Is I haven't seen a lot of Trinity Rodman. You
It's quite
know,
ironic.
like I know who her dad is. You know, and I know what he's done for the sport of basketball. He's considered one of the best defenders that have ever lived
But he
in the
also has
NBA.
nothing to do with her raising her. Like people make that connection, but he's not been around in her life at all, really.
Right, but still, I mean, she has a name, and that name, when you say Rodman, you don't think of Trinity Rodman, you think of Dennis Rodman. You know what I mean? I mean, let's be just completely honest.
I mean, I do, but that's because I'm
And
not a basketball guy.
well, a lot of people like know the Bulls, at least like just to know. I mean, he was part of one of the best teams in basketball history, royalty. So I just think, aside of her name being recognized, I just really wish, and to be like kind of positive in this, I wish she could do really good and really score and be more present and start. Maybe this is the beginning of her turning face and being more of like example player and having a great U.S. women's national team career moving forward and feeling motivated to inspire the other young women to pursue her dreams. You know what I mean? Because at this moment, I mean, I really don't see it. I just, I think Bon Mati, I think that socially with the impact she's done with Barcelona, the people she's helped with her foundation, the way she carries that team. I mean, it's more deserving to be kind of like a hip over Rodman. I mean, being completely honest, and again, I hope that this is kind of more of like on the level of, okay, we're making this really bold statement for women's sports, but now this is going to be a new Trinity Rodman coming forward, and that's what I want, honestly. I mean,
And
hopefully,
that's why I want to talk about how we use the high impact player rule.
right?
First of all, I want to say you can't just go sign a player, or you could kind of do what Washington has done, and they're using it essentially on a player that they already had, and using it to pay down, that $1 million. In terms of the qualifications, or the criteria, I said this before, but I definitely have confirmed it, that we have two players on our roster that would be high impact or could qualify to be paid under the high impact player rule, and therefore you could buy down their contracts off of the salary cap. And both of these players, I believe, get paid, combined less than $1 million. So you've got Barbara Banda and you've got Marta, both of which have been in the Ballon d'Ors. They've been in the required list for that for the last 2 years, as well as The Guardian, ESPN FC, I think, as well as NWSL awards, etc. So they should qualify. Therefore, so you can just in the summer pay off, like, not pay off, but have them taken off of the salary cap, and then use that $1 million more in the salary cap however we want. Maybe pay, improve some contracts. Maybe that's what Carducci will do it with. Like, maybe we'll get to the summer and she'll want to use the extra money to, increase contracts for players, or maybe sign a player that we need because we got halfway through the year and we've realized, okay, we need a right back or something. I don't know. Maybe. Or the other option is that we use it on a new player instead and say, okay, we're going to keep our salary cap but we're going to go find a new player that will pay, most of this. Their contract will be, or all of it will be, underneath the high impact player rule. You could do a combination of those two things. So you could put like Barbara on the high impact player, contract, and therefore have some of, like, I think she's on like 550,000 a year or something like that. So if she's on that much, then you could take that much off of the, the salary cap, because she's going to be paid under there. And then you could go spend the rest of it on a player. So it really depends what you do with that extra $1 million and the high impact player rule. There's some really exciting names, I think, Luis, that we could potentially go after, that qualify within this. And I was just, kind of spitballing a few here. But what do you think about the idea of going and signing someone like Marie Antoinette Cototo? Do you like the sound of that? Or maybe a Caroline Graham Hansen?
Yeah,
Or, maybe a Tabitha Chewinga?
yeah.
Or a Chloe Kelly even, right? I mean, I know, maybe somebody like Bunny Shaw, right? There are a lot of great women's players out there that are playing in top clubs in Europe, but you have the ability to go throw a lot of money at them, right? So if we say, okay, Caroline Graham Hansen's at Barcelona, but you go and throw enough money at her, maybe she's going to be interested to come over to NWSL and come play for Orlando Pride. I don't want to rule out any player. I think with this, we should be using the high impact player to go out and get, what it says on the tin, high impact players. So
De
the other one I
Mornay
would
as
love
well.
is Ewa Payor. I mean, there's a lot of great ballers in Europe, that I would happily spend this money on. What do you think, Luis? You got any names?
De Mornay will be great.
The Mornay, yeah.
That's another thing. It's like right now, for example, I don't know if she's a she's definitely De Mornay is a high impact player. But Mati is another one. You know, the one for Arsenal that plays in the English team. She's so good too.
Oh, Beth Mead
Yeah, me,
or Alicia Russo.
Elisa Russo. Yeah, Russo's
Yeah.
fantastic. You know,
I
like
mean, why not, right? Like, I don't think we should put any limits on who we could try and get.
yeah, like Barcelona right now. I mean, if there is a good time to snatch out Bonmati, it's now because Barca is having a
Her
lot of
her contract's gonna be up, right?
yeah.
Isn't she getting to that? Is she gonna be up in the summer? Is she one that's up in the summer?
Yeah, who would you take, Bonmati or Angelina?
I mean, yeah, there's no question there. And in terms of, right, like if this rule is designed to make you money, if we're talking about these massive names, like they will put butts in seats. They will sell seats
Yeah,
because
Bonmati
they're
will sell.
because
Yeah,
they're, Champions League stars and they've won multiple things, and that's what it's there for. It's for the big impress. If this rule was here, we would have used it to sign Barbara, right? That's exactly the kind of signing that we want to make. So yeah, I mean, we could just, like I said before, use it on our current players we have, but I think it's more exciting to go out and spend it on, one or two big signings, right? Let's say maybe you have to give them $1 million now that Trinity Rodman's kind of set that standard, but maybe you could go out and get one for 500,000, another one on 500,000, and you got two new star players that you brought in and are underneath the hip rule. I mean, if the league has made it a thing and it's going to be a thing and they're going to allow it, then we got to use it, right?
100%.
Obviously you have to use all the mechanisms at your disposal. And like I said, Washington already are. I'm sure Gotham will. I'm sure, the likes of San Diego Wave and Casey Current, et cetera, will all use it. So if we don't, then we're going to, be left behind.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I also feel like this hip rule is going to be used more on the attacking players. I don't know if I'm going to see a hip rule for a defender, you know, or a hip rule for a keeper.
Yeah, I mean, we named like all forwards in the ones. Like no
Yeah.
one.
So,
I mean, you
so
could, right? Like, who'd be great? Like Grace Gioro, who plays for
yeah,
PSG. She's like one of the best defensive mids in the world. Sure, go use the hip rule on her. I'm down for that. Like Naomi Gurma, right? You want to pull her back from Chelsea? Can we
yeah,
throw enough money at her to bring her back to the, NWSL? That one might be a bit out there, but I think there are a lot of players like Tarsiane, right? They get her back, like Leah Williamson, a bit older, but there are a lot of good players out there that aren't necessarily forwards, that are defensive mids or center backs, maybe even a goalkeeper, right? Go get Hannah Hampton, go throw the bag at Hannah Hampton. That would be crazy, right? So I think we should aim high and we should have big expectations. And I think if the Orlando Pride is serious about staying at the top, then show us. Go spend that bag on some. Maybe it doesn't need to be an attacker. Maybe we're more beneficial from getting in a hip defensive mid, right?
yeah. I mean, like I said, also with the hip rule,
What
they
about
can
Georgia
make Barbara
Stanway?
bet. I mean, depending how good she does this season, Barbara Banda, which is expected to come back to her scoring ways. They can make Barbara Banda a hipper because she's getting paid like a good comment by Shinta.
Yeah.
She's right now 500,000.
Yeah. That's what I think they will
So
do. Is most likely that they'll put her on.
I don't see this GM being serious about. I mean, she technically can't. I mean, think about it. For a big signing like this, you have to think it through. You can't just make a spur decision at the moment. And Haley has already signed a lot of the players till 2026.
Yeah, she got Martinez in for 950K. That's a
Yeah,
big signing.
so she got a lot of the players till 2026.
Kang and Haley are going to lead the way, right? We gotta keep up with them. That's the name of the game, is
Yeah.
keeping up with Washington Spirit right
Well,
now.
Washington Spirit already signed their Laro,
Yeah.
Paraguayan forward.
Mm-hmm.
You
Shinta
know,
say Hannah Hampton is expiring. You're over. No, no, Shinta. No, Hannah Hampton is the best goalkeeper in the world. You would definitely take her. I promise you. She's
Anna Hampton is
incredible.
much better than Anna.
I know you're hurt by English goalkeepers, but this is a whole
Yeah.
different kettle of fish.
I think, and Elizabeth on Elizabeth comment, I believe this season it's gonna be kind of knowing who stays, who goes for next season, because a lot of the contracts are gonna be up. A lot of the contracts are gonna be up. So we'll see. I mean, I mean, right now, and then next season, the club could target Dumornay, they
Yeah.
could target Bonmati.
But
There'll be
also
also a lot more cap space if you
she
think about
signed
it.
big players when she was at KC.
Yeah, she
She
did.
made big moves there.
Thelma Chawinga,
Yeah. They got in what's her name?
Davinia,
Davinia, like Di Bernardo. There was
hmm
a lot of big
a
player
lot of
moves
big
they
names.
made
Yeah,
when she was there. So maybe it's not like straight away. Maybe we're gonna wait till the summer and then put Barbara and Marta under this and then go make a move. That I could see. But I don't think we should assume we know what Carducci is gonna do.
yeah, 100%. It says I know, but buy England, says Shinta. Belange. There you go. Thank you, Miss Elizabeth, for being so honest. It says here, Hannah Hampton contract is expiring. Go sign Manaka. It says here. Thanks, says Shinta.
Manaka, you mentioned that
Manaka
one
will be
before.
great.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah, I will love that 100%. Dumornay is also. I was afraid that we couldn't sign the striker, the Brazilian striker from Chicago. I forgot her name. Um, the Brazilian
Oh, Ludmila,
Ludmila. Yeah, I was so
now with the
disappointed we
wave.
couldn't sign Ludmila.
Yeah.
Ludmila will look great in purple.
Elizabeth is saying Fallon, not Phalange. Okay, I thought you would
I
mistype that.
thought you were.
It's Fallon
I thought you were.
Telejoyce, which is the other
I thought you were throwing
solid
out a medical
goalkeeper.
term. I thought you were trying to actually trick me, thinking
uh,
I went to Ludmila. There you go. We were, great minds
yeah.
think alike, man.
Like I said, if you've not done so, please go and watch my NWSL pod. So we talk a lot about all the league moves and everything that's happening there on that one. But really, Luis, that's all we have today. There's not a
Really?
lot of news going on. I know Orlando Pride's back in training, but there's obviously last week we signed like 4 players, so it's not like things aren't happening. We got the GM in compared to a month ago. Things are looking a lot brighter. But yeah, it's just going to be a slow tick, I think, from now until the season starts. Right? We might have some things happening here and there, but I don't get the sense like we're going to see a lot of changes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see the team at the pitch. I'm excited for the new players. I think the new players have a lot of upside. And I can't wait to see Barbara Bender scoring some more goals. And again, that's going to be quite a big decision to do. I mean, either we make her our hit player, depending how good she does this season. Let's say this season she comes in, half preseason, comes up and starts 19 goals in the season. I mean, she's gonna definitely force you to be your hit player right away. I mean, and I hope that the team is wanting to sign her as a hit player. But if she's scoring, let's say 5, 4, 3 goals, 8 assists, 5 assists, you know, I think the club will be willing to negotiate to maybe give her 100,000 more, but I don't think they're going to go for the full milli. They're not going to go for the 2 milli either. So I don't think they're going to go hip if that's the case.
And I think that's where it comes down to again. It's like it's not about the on field. It's about, are you marketable?
So the rest of the league got much stronger. We upgrading a little bit, not enough in comparison. We made huge mistakes now signing players before 25. They need to get aggressive now to strengthen the roster. we already have a
I
good
want to
roster.
see,
Just
Luis.
gotta
I want to see what we get, right? I'm not gonna write this roster off at all. I think we still have a
yeah, me
very we
neither.
came to the semifinals, like we still have a very good team. I just think we need Banda.
100%. Because we already have a good roster. We just got to keep Banda us at the top. If we lose Banda, you'll have to upgrade the keeper. There you go. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well,
All right, guys. Well,
well,
we appreciate you hanging out with us, Elizabeth and Shinta, and anyone else who commented
Miss
today.
Elizabeth as well.
We're not, like I said, there's not a lot going on this week for Orlando Pride, so not the longest pod from us, but we always try to be here every week and find something for us to talk about.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support. Over 100 people live at the Pride Pod. I mean, it's like a record. So thank you guys for making it happen. If you just joined, make sure you rewind to the beginning. We had a long conversation about preseason and the hip rule and all that. And again, we're looking for somebody else to also join us here at the Pride Pod. Somebody that would like to cover some Pride games as well, that's passionate about covering the Orlando Pride this year. Uh, Make sure you DM us if you're interested, either on Instagram or X. We'll be able to talk to you and definitely bring you on. We definitely need more people to come and support the club. So, and again, thank you so much for your support. Make sure you subscribe. We're available on X, on Apple Podcasts, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and also Blue Sky. And again, Vamos Pride. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day.